Alrighty, let's test this out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sweet. This is Vanta. You guys know me. The fake internet friend. That is me. Vanta. This is, I believe, 2 days after making this, so we're just gonna clean it up, right? I'm gonna show you the process from beginning to end, how to make a hentai piece. This is gonna be like draft 2 out of 3, so we're gonna stick to this dirty pen. Oh, whoops. And we've established, right? We want Van to be green. Van is green. Like, in the comic, she is green. I've shared that with you guys. She is... Actually, let's use the fucking Ufu ink. Let's use the ink pen, because it's a little too small of a canvas to really do much. Oh my god, yes. Yes. I should have warmed up beforehand, right? And there's a lot of things I need to fix in this thing. Like, for example, his eyes are fucking wonk. And there's a thing to fix that. But before I do that, let's go back to this one. What was it called again? Let's see how this ends, right? Let's put the time-lapse replay just so we kind of warm up vocally. Oh, whoops, whoa. Forgot I was trying to draw hentai prior to this. Fuck it, this is part of the process. I was like, alright, hentai, and I kind of gave up. I was like, no, I'm good. And this is a scene from reality. I don't know if you can tell what's going on. That's Van's ass. You can kind of see her head, the bed in the background. And you're thinking, wait a second, Vanta. I thought you two broke up a few months ago. That is true. Me and a particular iteration of Van. Her name is Calligraphy. I've known her for a long time. She's been with me since the inception of Vanta, I think. At least when I came out to the internet and started to make myself known publicly. She's been there since the beginning. She's been very supportive. That's not the Van I'm talking about, though. This is the Van I met when I was 14. We met in summer camp. And, yeah, we're 27 now. We recently reconnected, and, like, I don't know, she's been inspiring. If you can tell from the piece. Vanta only draws things he experiences after all. Which is weird. Sometimes I experience some really weird things and I draw it back. So I'm like, oh, I should probably erase that. Never mind, you know? But yeah, let's have this boy play. Actually, let's have the timer on. Oh, the timer's on up there. This piece was only an hour, which normally my pieces take like 4 to 5 hours. But as you can see, I don't know what the hell I did. This is like a cubism approach where I'm just like planes, right? Intersections. There's all kinds of things going on. Lines that are dictating the reality of this piece. But no, I was drawing a face. A very creepy looking one, but eventually it comes out to be kind of grounded in reality in some way. But Vanta just loves messing with shadows and such. Shadows and light. It's no longer about lines. I think that's why the hentai stuff has been a drag, because it's like you have to think in lines and edges when you're drawing like an ink style, like a conventional hentai style. It's just ink and paint. But this process you're seeing here, it's all just ink. Like, I just go straight. Just all paint. It's a painterly process with, I guess, a method of lines. I don't know. It's a really weird style. But this is what I love. You get lost in the process. Each of those little splotches takes me like 30 seconds to make, That's 30 seconds to really just, I don't know, just delve deep in your mind, understand those deep thoughts and such. Let's see how long this lasts. And then it says, ghosts out of a TV. I wonder what that means. But no, we're doing this because we are waiting for somebody to show up. Vanta has a workout routine. He works out with the buddy, but he's running a little bit late, and it's like, today Vanta decided to kind of give Knab a break. He also gave another substance a break, but that one's highly addictive, so I've just been baiting for the next fix, but I decided today was like, no. Today we start the break. Vanta. But, let's just get into this here. I think what I'm gonna do here is just be careful with my lines, just redefine shapes again. I think that's the objective of this quick little thing, because my buddy might show up in like 20-30 minutes. Who knows? But we're just going to redefine shapes. Just, remind ourselves, breasts go here. Hips go here. All that stuff. You're going to see me, how I do that, how I check to see things are even. And there's going to be a little cheat that we have for Vanta, because his face is all wonk. And we drew him in a very symmetrical pose. So we're going to take advantage of some tools provided by Procreate. Also, I need to get into the habit of, stop doing this, because I get lazy. I don't want to, move my arm. I like to just stroke down, I guess. I'm a downstroker, I don't know what the fuck, but, I do that. I turn the canvas so I don't have to turn my hand, but that's such a bad thing because you lose track of, the composition. Not lose track, but you're constantly having to recontextualize, all right, recenter yourself visually, mentally. It's not a good thing to do. But that's all we're doing. There's some things that I did right? Like, the leg came out all right. Not perfect, but pretty damn good. The one thing I do need to work on is the back. The back, I feel, is a little too long. Yeah, all of a sudden, this looks better, what I just did. But look how far back her, neck has to go now. This totally just not ruins, but it changes up things a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get rid of the fucking that. Yeah, look at that. Just already, you can see better. You're oh yeah, this is totally, a body. That makes sense. But is it worth it? That's the problem. Is this worth... what's the point of this? What's the point of me retracing my steps and all that? I get it, you guys enjoy this stuff. And it's cool. When I was younger, I wanted to prove to the world, I can draw. This blind Hispanic kid can draw with zero, training or anything. I pretty much taught myself how to draw, which is bullshit. No, I found this book. It's called How to Draw with the Right Side of the Mind or some bullshit like that. But it showed me the fundamentals of art, edges, values, composition, anatomy to some extent. Anatomy was actually showed to me by some other guy. His name is Dorian Vallejo. He is a prolific portrait artist, I guess you would say. Portrait artist. He draws portraits of people. His medium of choice, he's got plenty of mediums. I think he He's good with everything. Markers, acrylics. I'm not too sure if he fucks with oil, but I wouldn't be surprised. You see here, like, just redrawing everything, and you gotta, like, now the arm's completely off, which is, like, now I gotta think in that capacity again of, like, foreshortening and all that stuff. I can just be totally lazy about it and just trace the... You know, let's just do it. Let's just stop. Let's just start doing the things that I say I shouldn't be doing. Because, I don't know, just sometimes it comes out and you're like, oh, I should have been doing this in the entire time, Kind of like when someone recommends music to you or a movie and you're like, all right, cool, thanks for the recommendation. You forget about it, then you come across it like a few years later and like, oh yeah, this is that one thing that one person recommended. I should have probably fucking watched it earlier because this shit rocks. But then again, Vanta's been recommended so many things where it's like, my guy, just fucking... That shit sucked. Sword Art Online, that's the best anime you can recommend, Vanta? Really? I don't watch anime, by the way. I fucking have never watched anime. I think the only anime I watched was when I was like fucking 10, 12. And yeah, that's making Vanta an unrelatable character. That's alright. Vanta is unrelatable. Welcome to the Unrelatable Podcast. Now I'm just getting bored drawing stupid shit like this. Oh, I really love her arm, though. Like, yeah, I need to work a bit more again. Like, I need to redraw it, but, like, that ain't bad, I just gotta move it over. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna have to do this. Bam. That's not bad. I just gotta make sure the shoulder's kind of in the right spot. That ain't bad at all, Vanta. Wow, that's actually really good. Maybe I should start doing that. Just start Frankensteining pieces together like this. That works, right? I mean, the neck is a little too high up now, but we can cut back. Just careful what you cut back because you might not get it back, you know what I mean? No, actually, Vantas fears that. Vanta rides motorcycles, and, like, every fucking day he just fears, like, man, one of these days you're just gonna, like, death wobble into a fucking fence or something, get sliced in half, and there you go. Now they can't put you back together, Vanta. I fear that, most certainly. Just losing a body part, fucking never... completely incapable of getting it back, you know what I mean? That's one of my fears. Have I lost... I know I've lost, like, toenails and such from, like... If you ever gone, like, hiking, whatever, in very intense hiking, and you end up carrying too heavy of a load or whatever, I don't know. There's some certain circumstances where your fucking toenails just fall off, like that scene out of, District 13 or whatever that alien movie is. That literally happens, and that shit was like, ugh, gross. Like seeing underneath your nail bed. Ugh, gross. I've experienced that. That's not good. Alright, let's do the head. We're getting there. And again, I should stop moving the canvas around so much. I need to force myself to do that, because you actually draw faster when you don't move the canvas. You're just spending less time manipulating the canvas. Her nose is a little too big, so we're going to do that. She's not clad after all. Vanta has always had... Van and Vanta, they both consistently have small noses. Vanta's nose never changes because He's a consistent person. He's a consistent voice in this story. But Van, she always changes. Not always, but every few years, I get a new Van, you know. I get a new girl that wants to join the craziness and realize, Vanta, you're fucked up. I'm good. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And that's all good. I respect that. It's better than pretending to like me, you know. I've had that experience in the past of like Van just pretending to like me for whatever reason, and then she just fucking snaps. She's like, well, I'm tired of tolerating your dumbass. I'm not getting what I want out of you anymore. So I'm gonna hurt you. That shit sucked. Don't treat your significant others like that, friend. In fact, after this whole ordeal, I've just learned to kind of not date. Girls just kind of come into my life now and they're like, I want to be a part of you, Vanta. I'm like, nah, you don't want to be a part of this, but I'll give you a chance. And ultimately, that's what happens. That's what happened to Calligraphy. No, that's bullshit. I asked Calligraphy to be my girlfriend. But that is my favorite Van. Calligraphy. Despite that, I took her for granted the most. Which is unfortunate. You know, the people that love you the most, you tend to take those people for granted, Vanta. Why that is, I have the answer for that, but I can't share. I don't want to share it. I don't like the shape of her head. It looks a little too, like, infantile, you know what I mean? Like, fucking... If you ever look at, like, how cartoonists draw baby heads, they got big foreheads. Because, yes, in reality, they have big foreheads because they hit their heads a lot. They gotta protect their brain. And I don't like doing that, despite this being ABDL hentai. It's like, I don't like... I don't know, I want... It's... Because I'm not presenting this to the ABDL scene. You guys in the ABDL scene know who I am. You know who Baby Vanta is. You know that I don't really make what other people are doing. This is for the non-ABDL people. The people that look into ABDL and they're like, oh, what a fucking joke. There's people that are into this stuff. And it's like, Vanta wants to show those people, I'm like, you're not getting it. It's not about the fucking, what she's wearing down here. It's not about that. It's about what's going on in here, in her head. That is what I'm trying to show people. That we're all just fucked up individuals. Where the hell are you, Ricardo? Ricardo Pack Talk. Oh, look at that. Another Van hit me up. Ooh, what did Van say? Fucking bozo, though. It was a good idea to turn right. Oh, thought it was a good idea to turn right in front of me, then slow down. I'm just happy. What'd you say? My airbags didn't go off. Oh, yes. That is another Van. Dee Dee. We're gonna call her Dee Dee. Like designated driver. But that's the first Van that like introduced Vanta into ass stuff, like prior to her, because just this Van is actually a little bit older than Vanta. I believe she was like 26, 27 when I was 22. And yeah, first thing she did, I mean, we talked, you know, we scoped each other out. We hung out first. We did a little, like, quick date, draw date, because all the girls I dated, they draw. Even, let's not get into that. What's going on with your fucking face, my guy? I guess we're gonna just do this, right? Yeah, gross. But yeah, this is like the first chick that Vanta dated that was older than him. And like, we scoped each other out, we vibed each other, and she's like, alright, come over to my place. And I was like, this is different. What? Usually I'm the one having to invite the bitch over, but I'm being invited over. This is new. And guess what she fucking did? She fucking... Do I want to say this? Just fucking whisper this. Dee fucking ate Vanta's ass out. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like... Well, first of all, she asked me, right? In the moment, I gave her like a quick 10-minute fuck because I was only like 22. I didn't know. Not that I didn't have endurance. I didn't understand that as you get older, you kind of want this shit to last longer because you spent the entire week, working just to get fucked for 5 minutes at the end of the week. No, that's not cool. But she asked me after the fuck, she's like, can I eat you out? And I was like, bitch, go for it. I don't fucking... Whatever. I'm down for anything. And that just made me into a fucking freak. It's like, oh, man, like, I can't go back from this. It's like opening Pandora's box. Once you know how good it is, it's like you can't put it back in the box. Good luck trying to put it back in the box. And yeah, so she's looking a little creepy right now because her head's disconnected, but that's okay. We'll fix it in a bit. But yeah, that was like, oh my god, like I needed more. And ever since then, I've been the bigger freak. Thank you, Dee, for making me the fucking freak. Every time I get a new girlfriend, it's like, oh my god, what the fuck did I get myself into? This guy is not only into this weird diaper shit, which personally I'm not. Like, I rarely get into them, like, physically wear them. It's more of the mindset of anything. But yeah, every time I make a new van, and they're like, oh my god, Vanta's a fucking freak. What did I sign up to? He draws like fucking girls wearing these things. He claims he's not really into it. But now I have to fuck his ass. Like, now I have to be the dude. What the fuck? And no, they love it. All these girls love it. In fact, there's another girl, right? I mentioned her when I was like 14. I fucked some bitch. We reconnected recently, and it turns out this bitch is a bigger freak than Vanta. The original Van is indeed a fucking nymphomaniac. Not the first one I've dated. Oh, it technically was the first one I dated, but like not the first one like I had a romantic connection with. We don't have a romantic connection, unfortunately. Because I recognized Vanessa, you're a fucking whore. I like you girls. I like the whores, but it's like I can't date you girls. Sorry. We can have fun though, and you can pretend to try to hold me down with your pussy, but it doesn't work. That's one thing you gotta understand, precious listener. Vanta's asexual. And like, oh, what the fuck? What? You're a hentai artist, Vanta. How can you be asexual? Like, asexuality works in a very weird way, right? It's not like distracted or unattracted to people. That's not how it works most of the time. What happens is, like, you just don't see sex. Like, you just don't. When you look at other people, like, really hot people, you're just like, alright, that's a human being. Next. Like, I don't want to look at that because people often look at that thing and just desire sex out of that human being. Let's go look at something else. Let's go look at art. Let's go look at something pretty. that people don't want to fuck, because I don't want to be the next person that fucks, that does the thing that the other person does. I don't want to do something that's predictable. And that turned Vanta, like, asexual, like, from a very early age. Like, I've had so many sexual advances, but I just turned them down. Not because I failed to recognize that they're sexual advances, but because it's like, I don't want this from you, bitch. Like, I really don't. I just want to get to know what's inside your head. That shit's hot. No one gets to know that but you. But I want to know that. I don't care what's in your pants. I want to know what's in your fucking head. That shit turns me on. Plus, it's like, think about it. Look at the kind of hentai I make. Is it sexual in nature? Very rarely. Like, I mean, yeah, it's sexual scenarios, right? You shouldn't be dressed like this in public. You should be like this in the bedroom or somewhere private in the comfort of whoever's company. Of your significant other, someone who won't judge you in this capacity. They're not really fucking all too often, and I've tried so hard to draw that. The closest I gotten was that glow-in-the-dark piece with Van. Maybe. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I fuck these girls a lot. Pretty regularly, but it's like... Or, sorry, they fuck me pretty regularly, too. But that's not what I get out of it. Like, when I'm in the whole intimate scenario, it's just more of watching the day slip away, spending time with this person. Right? Finding precious things to do between the two of you is not just fucking. But at the same time, we're still in the bedroom. Like, yeah, we're still fucking. But yes, Vanta is indeed asexual. Clad, I believe, is a Cupid sexual or some bullshit like that. But then again, I don't subscribe to these fucking different things. There's like a billion different sexualities out there. It's like, no, either you're straight, gay, bi, or you're not into anything. Or furry, I guess. Furry is like its own fucking category. Is Vanta a furry? Hell the fuck no. Does he enjoy furry products? Hell the fuck yes. Bad Dragon apparently is a furry company, and it's like, god damn it, guys, you got me. You made a fucking straight man into a furry by proxy through your fucking products. Because let's face it, right? I've had this conversation with the gay man. It's like, alright, my guy. Because this guy really wanted to fuck me. And I was like, will it make me gay if I let you fuck me, but you have to use a toy? You can't use your dick to fuck me. He's like, yeah. That makes you absolutely gay. I was like, fuck, I guess this is off the table, then there's nothing we can do that'll make this not gay. And is Vanta homophobic? Absolutely not. It's not that, but he's Catholic, which means I don't want to say he's made a vow to, like, follow certain rules, right? Doesn't mean I agree with him, it's just a commitment I made with God. And one of those rules is, well, you can't really have an intimate relationship with another man. Vanta never desired it, but that one guy, I was like, man, like, how often? This was when I was pretty young, when I was a fucking twink. I was like, it's not often that a fucking guy wants to fuck me, but, I mean, the opportunity's there, but when he decided it's gonna make you gay, Vanta, I was like, fuck, the opportunity's not there. Which is alright, Van fucks me now, so it's like, that doesn't make you gay. So I can have it as many times as I want, as long as she wants to give it to me. Why'd I go off on this tangent? I was talking about, like, oh yeah. furries, right? Let's continue to draw. And look at that. Oh, all of a sudden, look at that. Creepy. Oh, fuck, no, I fucked it up. Damn it, it was placed perfectly, too. And not creepy. Right? Creepy, not creepy, creepy. That's literally all it takes, right? But yeah, back to the furry shit. Vanta. So Vanta bought some toys for for Clad. When I broke up with Van, I got with Clad, which is a them. Technically female, so like, whatever. And yeah, I bought Clad some toys because they're a fucking nymphomaniac as well. Like, Vanta, maybe just by, like, comparison to me, because again, I'm very, not a low sex drive, but it's not activated unless someone initiates it. And yeah, this girl just all the fucking time, she just wants to fucking get off. So I was like, alright, let me go buy you something to keep you busy because I can't keep you occupied all the time. Vanta's a professional. He's got shit to do. You're still a fucking, not a child, but you're still not an adult, like mentally. Because let's face it, like, you don't become an adult till, like, you start fending for yourself, essentially. Some people, that's straight out of high school. Some people, that's during high school or middle school. Doesn't matter. But, like, there's a point in your life, usually in your mid-20s, late 20s, fucking mid-30s for some fucking losers, where you realize, oh, nobody cares about me. I need to fend for myself. I need to start planning things so when that shit does hit the fan, I'm not totally fucked. And yes, that's when he started acting like an adult. But like, no, Clad still very much acted like a child and just wanted to fuck all the time. Wanted to fuck themselves. Fuck Vanta. So yeah, I bought Clad a fucking unicorn horn, and I was like, have at it, bitch, enjoy. And turns out, well, she left it at my place before we broke up, and it's like, well, shit, I got this fucking thing, like, it's an expensive toy, I can't just throw it away. So I held on to it until I met Vanessa. So we reconnected. And then she was like, hey, I noticed there's this here when she came into my room. And guess what she brought the next fucking week? She brought her fucking harness. And I was like, what is that? Like, am I supposed to wear that? Like, what the fuck? And she's like, no. You're gonna be the bitch tonight, Vanta. And I was like, whoa, okay, like, that's new, I'm down. Like, this is your little date. That's where the skit, I don't know if I shared it, like, little snippets of the skits. There's one where Van is, like, kind of screaming at, like, Clad, like, show me how it's done in Barsoon. That's pretty much that date what happened. She was like, alright, Vanta, time for you to be the bitch. Turn around. And take it. And man, this girl is like half my size, and god damn, she knows how to fuck. A lightning experience for sure. I should start drawing, but I'm pretty sure what I'm talking about is fucking interesting and hilarious as fuck. the face still kind of looks a little wonk, but it's like, it's alright. It's alright. It's because I'm not. Whatever. Whatever, man. But yeah, I guess that makes me a fucking furry because I got fucked by a unicorn horn, right? This is a product made by furries for furries. I mean, I wasn't fucked by a furry. But the toy she was using was intended for them. So it's like, oh, I guess that makes me one by proxy. Fuck. By consequence. I don't know. But no, I'm not really into that stuff. Do I get it? I feel like I'm getting a little bit more of it now that I'm using the toys, you know? Like, now that it's being used on me and I'm being, like, presented this new opportunity to be, like, somewhat something else, which is not, like, you know, masculine male. I'm starting to get the furry side, but at the same time, it's like, I'm still just a straight dude, my guy. Like, I'm still gonna be Vanta at the end of the day. Just a fucking asshole who just wants nothing more than to be left alone and fucking draw. But that's it, 36 minutes. Let me check here. Let me check if my buddy's fucking... And no, I don't use the real names of my friends and such. That's fucking stupid. No, he's not here yet. Great. That's alright. I only have 40 more calories to go to beat my goal. Whatevers. It's looking really good, though. Like, not bad. Let's draw her microphone, right? This is... Ooh. Oh, wait, the dialogue's right there. Do we want to bullshit a microphone? Like, do we... Let me tell you something. A lot of how Vanta draws is like a medieval artist. Like, I don't believe in, like, going on Google and looking up how certain things look. That's easy, right? If you want to learn how to draw a whale, just Google up pictures of whales and, like, draw that. Easy. The internet's accessible to everybody, right? But no, after a while, it's like, can I just do something different? Like, let's go back to the roots of artists. Like, how did they used to draw back then? We used to make fun of how, like, medieval artists drew animals, like, exotic animals. Because they only had, like, a day, a week, or whatever, how long they could to look at the thing, to understand it, to study it, to draw it. After they return home, they can't see that animal again. It's just based off of their drawings and their memories. So I wanted to reconnect with those artists. Hieronymus Bosch, all those fucking amazing artists from back in the day. And turns out it's not easy. Trying to draw from memory, to draw the way a medieval artist does, completely from memory, just a quick, like, snapshot of reality, and then that's all you have to work with. So right now I'm trying to draw a microphone from, like, memory without looking at references or, like, anything. I was so tempted earlier to just be like, I have one of these microphones in my closet. I can just pull it out and, like, reference it. But it's like, no, that there's no challenge in that. And oftentimes what happens, I create something interesting, just like those fucking goofy exotic animal drawings from the medieval times. I come out with something that looks completely not like the thing, but still vaguely resembles it. Like, it's a new idea. It's my original idea, my recollection of something real that happened, which is my original thought, right? I'm not trying to copy something. I'm just trying to recreate something that's hiding in my memories. And look at this. Like, we got this cool future-looking microphone, right? Like we got like the antenna. Maybe in the future antennas float. Like we find a way to have, like those what are they called? Those zero capacitor magnets that float. Oh yeah, did I tell you Vanta was my God, I sound like an idiot. Vanta was an engineer. He knows a bit about science and shit. It's just uninteresting as shit, but that's why I never made a career out of it. But yeah, there's like these supercapacitors. Essentially, you freeze magnets, certain super magnets. They can essentially just float in space under the right conditions. So what if that happens in the future? I kind of oversold it with that extra piece, but like right here. There you go. Like, now you got like this weird thing just floating off of this thing. Super subtle, but like, it's there. Do we want to have like... I don't know. We'll see. I don't like her nose now that I'm looking at it. That's more of like my nose, if anything. No, that's bullshit. There we go. A little bit better. This isn't looking that bad. I might just keep like the weird style. If you guys like it. Because I'm very confident in this style. I would think like, oh, this is not good because you're not showing off like the painterly stuff. Motherfucker, you guys have seen the painterly stuff. Let me show it off for a second. Painterly. There's no lines here. Well, I mean, there are lines, but like, this isn't a practice of edges. This is a practice of paint. Look at that. That's a quick sketch. And then it's all paint. Oh, look at that. Whoa. Whoa, shit. Yes, Vanta can paint. He has no reason to show it off. He just wants to enjoy himself. And he really does enjoy how Van looks in this one. I think if we flip it, I think her... Yeah, I already see the issue here. Her head's too big. It's not too big. I think you're just overthinking it, Vanta. Because what I'm thinking here... Let's pull out the correction color. Like, the head should be here, right? The face is in this section. This part right here, like the hair that's doing this. That part, I feel like, should be here. I feel like it should be closer. And then the ears right here. You see how that looks a little bit better? And there's a way to justify how it looks currently. It's just... do I want to undo everything? I can return to her face later. But that's something I have to be mindful of. So let's do this. Let's make a little... Keep the reminder here to remind us, like, come back and fix it, Vanta. That's one quick way to check if things are wonk. Just flip it horizontally. Little artist tip on Procreate. And yes, I have this menu. Take a good look. I spent like a pretty good time setting this shit up. My guy, where are you at? My buddy hasn't showed up. I'm gonna just start walking in 15 minutes. So let's see what we can achieve in 15 minutes, friends. We're going back to this one. Let's make this shit poofy as fuck, right? Oh, look at that. First stroke and was like, yes, it worked. It fucking worked. Hell yeah. But yeah, in these 15 minutes, let me share with you the kind of substances that Vanta does. Since we're pretty far into the podcast, I'm pretty sure no one's listening. It's just me. Look, let's be honest. The real gateway drug, in reality, is caffeine, motherfucker. It's not marijuana. The one to teach me how to get addicted was caffeine. I think I started drinking caffeine when I was like 16, 17. Absolutely changed like the timing of my, I don't know, like my biological clock, just everything. It changed everything. I now had to take this stuff just so I didn't wake up in a shit mood, you know? Like, there's people like that, right? Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. There's people like that genuinely are like that. I was one of those people. And it's like, how is that? How is it that you came to that point? Is it really the coffee or is it like the stress? And it came, I took a break. I had to take a break because I literally could not sleep. Like, it could have killed me. It was that bad. Like, the lack of sleep. Thank you, Van, for introducing me to caffeine. Go fuck yourself. But, yeah, like, it got bad. But thankfully I learned, like, when you take break from these things, you can permanently just forget and never have to want to crave the shit again. It's just hard the first couple days. Like, making that decision, right? It's a decision you make like months ahead of time, but it's once you make that decision to stop, it's like agony. Like, trying to figure out how the tapes work for this thing is fucking agony because I have a very weird way of drawing these things. Because like this is her hip that the thing's wrapping around. Whatever, Vanta. But yeah, that's a gateway drug. It's caffeine. It's not marijuana. That was the first thing I did. The second thing I did was a fucking cigarettes. When I was like 25. Had zero interest in smoking them, but one of my passengers, because I used to be a public was I 25? I think it was 24, 24, 20, whatever, it doesn't matter, but yeah, I used to be a public transit worker, and like, one of my passengers was like, hey, you're a really good guy. Here's a pack of cigarettes. This is gratitude. And I don't want to be like, gross, my guy. I took them, and I was like, these people are poor. This is all this man can afford to give me. I'll give him the pleasure of, or I'll just enjoy this thing as he intended. It was a sealed pack of cigarettes. I was going to take a fucking open pack from someone. I'm stupid, but not that stupid. And yeah, that was also like familiar addiction territory. I was like, I crave this stupid shit every day, but like, it does nothing for me. It just makes me feel like I have to take it. And then I tried other shit. I grew mushrooms just for fun because Van and I were really into that when we were kids, like mushroom cultivation. Apparently I had a hold of Paul Stamets' book before he showed up on Joe Rogan, because I was like, hey, it's the guy with the mushroom hat. I have his book. He's on Joe Rogan. And then, like, I don't know, that was cool. That was cool seeing that connection. So I decided, after seeing him on Joe Rogan, I was like, you know what, let me dust up that book and learn how to grow mushrooms again, because in the book that I bought, it's not just magic mushrooms, it's all kinds of shit. It's all kinds of gourmets, turkey tails, all that bullshit. But I decided, let's just grow the weird ones. Let's draw. Let's get a little sidetracked, friend. Something good might become of it. Yeah, I was like, let's grow the weird ones because I have no desire of eating mushrooms. Like, I can only produce so much, as an amateur. How about if we just do something that, like, doesn't eat a whole lot? Because I don't plan to, like, live off of this stuff. I just want to do it for fun, to see if I can do it. To see how mushrooms grow. So that's what happened, our friend, Vanta. I'm gonna start referring to you as Vanta. I grew Cubensis, a lot of different strains, but like in a very short amount of time. Which meant I had gallons upon gallons of this stuff. I only have a few jars left. But, what was it, last year when I started growing? I had gallons of this stuff dried. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, just throw it away? I gave them to friends, but like I still had gallons left. Never sold them. Again, not my thing. I was just growing them for fun out of curiosity. But I had so many that I didn't know what to do with. So I started taking them, right? I remember the first ones I took. I was so excited. I was like, because not that I didn't do my research, but like as a younger kid, you're just into like looking into weird shit. And I kind of knew what psychedelics did, but I never looked too deep into it. Because ultimately, you can listen to the stories or trip reports, but like everything's up for interpretation. Like, this is just one person's interpretation, their retelling of the events of what they experience in their mind. It's completely subjective. I don't really know the true experience. So I don't really pay attention to anything of anything online of like what to do with mushrooms, the dangers, whatever. I just went straight forward. Of course, I did my research of like, what's the safe dose for a beginner, which turns out to be 20 grams wet, 2 grams dried. I remember looking out the window the first time I took 20 grams wet, and I was like, huh. All these thoughts in my head are fucking stupid. Realizing that society doesn't exist. That's only something that exists in my head. What exists is what's out there in my window. That man washing his car, that's what's real right now. Not this notion of society that told him that he needs to have a clean car or anything. And that's when I don't know, it was a funny trip, but, mushrooms, yeah, but that wasn't addictive at all. If anything, what was addictive about it was that escape from reality. Like I said early on in this podcast, life is so predictable. I've been through this. This is not my first rodeo, being human. Do I take it for granted? Absolutely not, but I'm just saying. There's a lot of things humans aren't getting. They're still blind. They're still like... I don't want to get into this in podcast number 2. We'll get into this later on. But that's what the mushrooms were to me. They were escape from reality. They were something new. Every time I took them, they would break expectations. In the beginning, it was in a good way, but then later on, as I started to take bigger doses and the mushrooms got familiar about who I was, those trips started to get vicious. I could have went completely schizophrenic permanently. Oh, I've been schizophrenic for like fucking 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time. That happens when you break your mind, when you shock it with too many drugs. Oh my god, the first time I experienced it in a while terrified the absolute fuck out of me. Because the first time you experience schizophrenia, and if you've been completely sober and just like clear-headed or whatever, mentally healthy your entire life, it terrifies you, but you don't know what it is. You just know something happened. You either saw God, you had ego death, you had whatever, this and that. But you don't know that it's schizophrenia. You think it's real. Whatever it is, experience ego death. You accept it as reality, as you should. But no, after, again, I had experienced that, my first ego death, maybe like 3 years ago, by accident. Maybe like 2 years ago. You know, my buddy introduced me to marijuana, and I never was really into it because I was in industries where that wasn't allowed, so I just never indulged as a young adult. But once I got out of those industries and friends that were experienced, they did the responsible thing. They introduced me with low doses, right? So I was having a good time with them 3 or 4 times, maybe, enjoying that with them. But then I went to my cousin, who's a big pothead, younger than me. The guy's still a kid. He's like, let's go smoke Fanta. I want to smoke you out. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but alright. Let's go do it. This motherfucker's smoking tarantula joints or some crazy bullshit that I don't even know. Blew my mind. Like, we were smoking outside in nature, and I told him, like, after smoking the joint, I saw my vision just, like, quickly, like, I can see supervision. Like, there was mountains maybe like 10, 15 miles from me, and I can see the flowers on the mountain. That's how clear my vision was, despite having a vision disorder. And I was like, all right, friend or cousin, I need to lay down because that wasn't normal. Let me just nap this out for a second. And then I lost my fucking mind during the nap. I came back to reality, not knowing what I was, who he was, anything. It was terrifying. At the same time, I enjoyed the experience now. Like, I remember vividly every single second of it, despite it lasting an eternity. But that was schizophrenia. But I understood, you can't go there, Vanta. You can't go there here in this life intentionally. Because that is damage being inflicted upon your mind. Not your brain. You're always inflicting damage upon your brain just by simply living. You know, your brain ages throughout time. Let's continue to draw. Ages throughout time. Let's draw a cool ass red sun. But yeah, that was recently. I took way too many mushrooms than I should have. Because again, remember, I'm an experience. This is new to me. I thought I can handle 5 grams because I used to take 10 grams just for fun. And it turns out, no, Vanta. You took a long tolerance break. You're back to 0. You should be fucking around with 1 to 2 grams, not 5 grams. This is how you break your mind, friend. And broke my mind indeed. I remember I was with Clad, or I was FaceTiming Clad. It was like an online date thing. And they hung up briefly, and I just remember going to the restroom, and after the restroom, I was like, let me just sit down here in the hall. Like, I just feel the need to do that. And then I just lost all track of reality. I was like, I didn't know what the walls were next to me. I didn't know what my knees were, what that meant. The color blue, because, again, there's blue paint in the house. The color blue all of a sudden meant yes. The number 2 meant I don't know, the notion of fuzziness, like nothing made sense. All I knew was that everything that used to make sense no longer makes sense, but it still exists. And I need to learn how to navigate life like this. And that's when I realized, oh, I should probably be more careful with these things because I could be in this state of mind permanently. There's some people that just don't come back from this. Full on schizophrenia. I should respect these drugs. But then I came back to sobriety for 3 seconds and I was like, again, that's when I had that thought. And then it was back to chaos. It was back and forth like that the entire evening. But since that experience, I've learned to respect mushrooms. They're not these friendly things. They're these fucking cosmic beings. I don't know how else to explain it. They're much more intelligent, stronger than us. And I'm not saying this out of disdain for them or anything, for what they did to me. They taught me a very important lesson, if anything. I'm just saying, as much as younger kids want to champion mushrooms and psychedelics, they fail to recognize, because again, when you're young, your mind's resilient against these things. It's very easy for you to bounce back from these things. But as you get older, it's not the case anymore. And yeah, they champion mushrooms and all this, and it's like, my guy, these things are dangerous. These things can be used as weapons, essentially. Like, LSD especially, used as a fucking weapon. These aren't things that people should just have regular access to. Maybe they should. Maybe people should just learn that. But that's not the society that we live in. We live in a very, liability society that everyone's needs to be accounted for, or everyone's safety must be accounted for. We can't trust people to protect their own lives because they're fucking stupid. So why are we going to put dangerous drugs in the hands of stupid people? But yeah, that's the rant. Looking pretty cool. Very negative rant, but that's just the way that it goes sometimes, and that's what nobody knows. So thanks for listening, friends. I hope you enjoyed this sketch. We're coming along on this piece. I think the next part I want to show you is the painting process. I'm going to clean her up a little bit, and then, of course, clean up Vanta down here. And then we'll show you the painting process. But yeah, thanks for listening. See you on the next one.